India produced 42 million tons of iron and over 34 million tons of steel in 2004. There was also an increase in domestic consumption by about 6% to 31.2 million tons. India was the most important iron and steel making center of the ancient world, and the Indian subcontinent shows evidence of iron making going back over 3,000 years. Indigenous communities in the country preserved these ancient methods of iron making well into the 20th century. One such community is the Agaria. The Agaria, children of fire or Ag, according to legend, were born out of fire when Nangabaiga, a classical hero, worshipped Agyasur, the fire demon. The first Agaria thus born then made 12 pillars of virgin iron and set them at four corners of the world. The Agaria are the iron smelters of central India and can be traced through the states of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. With a population of over 55,000, they are concentrated in the iron ore-rich Maikal hill range that runs along the Narmada river. The Agaria live in small groups with other neighboring tribes like the Baigas and the Karwas. The Baigas are famed hunters, and their legendary poison arrowhead was made by the Agarias. The Agaria also supplied them with agricultural implements. This gave them a prominent place in the social hierarchy and the indigenous economy. Ancient Sanskrit scriptures refer to iron and its properties. The 3,000-year-old Ashokan iron pillar at the Qutub Minar is a fine example of ancient India's superiority in iron and steel manufacturing. Herodotus mentions that the Indian soldiers in Xerxes' army had cane arrows tipped with iron. The Roman Empire relied heavily on India for the finest grade of steel, and ferrum indica or India iron appears on the list of articles subject to duty at the Alexandria port. Throughout the Middle Ages, the Damascene blades of the Muslim warriors were made from wood steel exported from India. Traditionally, the Agaria were the blacksmiths of the Gond kings. They lived in Gond villages and manufactured swords, spears and arrows for them. According to legend, when the great Agaria kingdom of Lohripur was burnt down by the sun god, Tingamati, the wife of Logundi Raja, was its sole survivor. She took refuge in a Gond house, and since then, the Agaria have coexisted with them. Today, this ancient art of traditional iron smelting is dying out. But it is still found in a few pockets in the Agaria belt, like here in district Dindori, Madhya Pradesh. We were fortunate to witness the process of smelting being performed, perhaps for the last time. The fine clay used to fashion the furnace is collected from riverbeds. To this is added a mixture of straw and husk. The women tread on it, and only when it reaches the right consistency will an Agaria woman use it to sculpt the furnace or bhatti. The bellows are made of a wooden cast covered with animal hide, which inflates and deflates as it blows air into the furnace. The hide is first soaked in water for a day to soften and is then tied onto the cast with leather laces. Then the furnace is left to dry out for 4 to 5 days before it can be used. Meanwhile, they set out early to collect the iron ore from the surrounding Maikal hills. Living in close proximity to the iron ore deposits saves time as well as energy. In the olden days, the Agaria would shoot a red arrow into the air, and wherever it fell, they would start digging there. For them, nature is sacred, and reverence for its resources comes naturally. The Agaria begin by invoking the blessings of Lohasur and their ancestors, who they know guide them to the sites.
जो है तो अपने बाहर से बच्चा से खेती से बाड़ी से सिया से जुड़ी से अपने हैं तो सही से हाथ पर खड़े रह मुर्गा बच्चा रो ये देख दाई तोर दाम दे रहे हैं काहे बिल्कुल काहे लोहा से दाम दे रहे लोहा से काहे अगर सच्चे हो भाई हमारा मानता का हो भी सही और अपने लोहा भरने हमार बार सही होवे हमार राजा दादी का मानता का तो सही चरबे देव नहीं चलता है वो काहे मुर्गी चरेगा तब उसने बच्चे उठाता है तब हम मानबो नहीं तो हम नहीं मानते.
The Agaria and the Asur are believed to be descendants of the Asuras, the mythical enemies of the gods. They find elaborate mention in the Rig Veda and Mahabharata. In one Agaria legend, the Pandavas attacked and destroyed the Asura kingdom of Logundi Raja. Others believe that it was the jealous sun which brought about the ruin of the kingdom. An Agaria can spot a good site just by its color. The iron ore used by them is mainly hematite or magnetite that occurs together with laterite rocks in the form of heavy reddish-brown stones. There is no need for deep digging here, for often the ore is found just on the surface. About 100 kilometers away near Shahdol was a family that still practiced this ancient art of iron smelting. We decided to visit them. On reaching the village, we found that they had all the infrastructure but had abandoned this tradition. The younger generation did not learn the technique because it was time-consuming and labor-intensive. We asked them why and were told that they were not allowed to collect firewood. The forest no longer belonged to them. After some persuasion, the old man of the house agreed to show us the process one more time. Women hold a key position in Agaria society and in keeping the tradition of iron smelting alive. They contribute in equal measure to the production of agricultural tools and household items from iron and take on the task of selling the ironware at local markets. They too have to trudge long distances to gather ore and wood required for the furnace. In short, women provide the base on which the tradition of Agaria as iron smelters survives. The smelting process cannot start before the worship of Lohasur, the iron demon, Agyasur, the fire demon, and Koilasur, the charcoal demon. Even the wind is venerated or the bellows won't work. Various tribal heroes like Agarsai, Sabarsai, Logundi Raja, Jwalamukhi and Karyakor are worshipped as the ancestors. The fire used for smelting can only be lit using a virgin fire and not fire leavings or fire that has been used earlier, the only exception being the holy bonfire.
एक मोर कोटि के दुकैया मोर माया कोटि नहीं सिमचे मरो भाई मुखिया है कोटि के दुकैया का नहीं जुड़ा भाई अग्नि घेंज लहाय
A popular Agaria legend tells of the great war between Logundi Raja and the sun. The sun killed Logundi Raja. His son, Jwalamukhi, avenges his death by devouring the sun, causing solar eclipses. This deeply entrenched enmity with the sun manifests itself as a taboo against working with iron under the sun. Midday iron is always useless and will prove brittle or misshapen. As we found out, one of the reasons for this is that a strong day breeze in this area affects the smelting process. With the demise of the barter economy, the Agarias have been forced to change their skills. 1 kilo of iron is available for just 20 rupees in the local market, and so it has become impossible for them to compete. Now they have no choice but to change their means of earning a living. When Bhim attacked Lohripur, the legendary city of the Asuras, he caught 6 of the Asur and 6 of the Sabar brothers. He put them into the furnace, stamping on the bellows till the heat consumed them. The other 6 Asur and 6 Sabar brothers escaped into the jungle. When God found them hiding there, he told them that Lohasur's sons were to be Asurs and Sabar's sons were to be Agarias. So we went in search of the mythical Asurs on the Netherhat plateau. We showed them the photographs. They showed us slag remains and ruins of old furnaces. We were told that the process was prevalent in the area, but here too it had become extinct. We had obviously stirred up old memories of the passing of an age, as they directed us to another village not too far away, where just one Asur family is still keeping alive what is now a dying art. Iron smelting requires good quality charcoal that is usually made by controlled carburization of the sal tree. A pit is dug, the wood put into it and burned. Then soil is thrown over it so that the wood burns in the absence of oxygen, resulting in a better quality coal that can burn for a longer time. This charcoal is capable of generating heat of up to 1500 degrees centigrade, which is required for the iron to smelt. Although the process of smelting is very similar for the Agaria and the Asur, there is a slight difference in the structure of the furnace. The Asur one, which is a tapering shaft furnace, is more primitive since it does not have an angle shaft like the Agaria. There is just one hole at the base of the furnace with 2 openings to take out the slag. The iron comes out from the center. The Asur furnace is an 80 centimeter high tapering shaft furnace with the diameter varying from 50 centimeter at the bottom to 15 centimeter at the top. The iron ore and charcoal fed into the furnace have a size range of 0 to 10 millimeters and 0 to 25 millimeters respectively. The red stones are ground to a fine consistency, mixed with charcoal in a proportion of 16:15 and poured into the furnace. When the kiln is ready, a mixture of husk, iron ore dust and charcoal dust covers the mouth, with just enough room to fix a nadi or funnel, which is attached to two hollow bamboo poles called toda or begul. Although these ancient people who worked by instinct never realized it, a lot of science is involved in the process. For example, the bamboo twires have to be positioned so that the air meets at the center of the furnace to achieve optimum temperature. Thereafter, 15 kilograms of iron ore and charcoal are charged in alternate layers about 9 to 10 times. The air blast is maintained continuously for 5 hours till the molten iron rolls out. What is truly remarkable is that even at a time when knowledge was so limited, the Asurs had an environment-sensitive outlook. In keeping with tradition, they would always ignite the gas which emanated from the top of the furnace. We now know that the gas was carbon monoxide, a poisonous gas. Wooden sticks are poked in through the twire from time to time to check for slag formation. Normally, about 2 kilograms of slag is removed during the entire reduction period, in which 3 or 4 deslagging operations are undertaken. The blowing stops after the charge has reached a critical level. The wall is removed and the sponge iron lump is taken out. The sponge iron is beaten and cut into two with a chisel and hammer. It is reheated again in a separate furnace of the type a blacksmith uses. Repeated heating and beating causes a lot of slag to flow out of the sponge iron. About 30 to 50% weight reduction takes place in this step, and the iron is shaped, usually into an agricultural implement. We returned to where our journey had begun. The furnace was dry, the bellows ready, the stones ground. Preparations are afoot for the night of smelting, when the Agaria demons will be invoked. And no Agaria invocation is complete without alcohol made from the mahua flower. This is central to the celebrations for the birth of the virgin iron. O Mother Agyasur, care for the flame. When the virgin iron is born, I will fall at the feet of all gods. O Lohasur Bhavani, help us. Let the iron come out well. Let it not fail. And in the third year, I will offer you a black pig.
मेरे बारह भाषी बंगारा फूलमंद का धार गया हिम कराई हिम कराल काहे देखो कैसे आज बेटा जुआ ऐसे ऐसे धरती पृथ्वी ला काहे आज देखो काहे आज 12 भाई अगरिया 13 भाई कंठा 14 भाई लोहा 18 भाई फूलमंद का आज.
As the fire is lit, the air reverberates with sacred prayers. Prayers are offered to Dhukan Mata, the blowing mother, and Pavan Kuwari, the virgin wind. Then the Agaria women begin stepping on the bellows with their nimble feet. Thereafter, the roar of the bellows keeps the Agyasur alive, and the flames dance over the kiln steadily for hours, sometimes the whole night long.
ये मेरा धार उठ जाए हाँ धुआं निकलता ही है वो
And they pray. Deep in the womb of the furnace, the fire and the earth come together in fiery communion to give birth to a son named Iron. A son who changed the course of our entire civilization the moment it was born. As it became a plough in the field, it created the first farmer. As it turned into an axe, it cleared many a forest and gave man a place to build a safe habitat. The mysterious blue flames that dance above the furnace all night, the warm glow of the coal burning under the constant blast from the bellows, the fierce iron rolling out of the furnace, the sudden spikes of light that leap out each time the hammer hits the glowing iron. This imagery is central to Agaria folklore.
मार मार तो मैदा कारा पत्थर है सरीला है पत्थर है सरीला जो तो बाबा तो पारसा है जो सरीला का जो हाथ रहो सेमिनार बातिया जो हाथ रहो रे आएगा जो हाथ रहो सेमिनार बातिया जो हाथ रहो रे
Through the night, the Agaria demons and elements dance together to celebrate the process of creation. The next morning, when the clay coating of the kiln is broken down, the very essence of Mother Earth, the virgin iron, rolls out in the form of a red-hot ball of molten slag and charcoal. And while it is still hot, it is hammered into iron. With the extinction of Agaria furnaces, a part of Agaria folklore and tradition is gradually slipping into oblivion. We invited the Agarias to visit the Bhilai steel plant. And as they stood there and watched the tongue of fire roll out, they knew that the demands of the modern world have far exceeded the capabilities of their ancient heritage. And yet, Lohasur and Agyasur are still alive. The Agarias were the pioneers. And despite the leap in technology and productivity, their place in the history of human evolution remains indomitable. Oh, they will carry you away, and your soul will weep. The hammer says, "Listen, O Agaria, do not make me. Tomorrow or the day after, you will die. And then, who will use me to strike the iron?" Oh, they will carry you away, and your soul will weep. The pig says, "Listen, O Agaria, do not make me. Tomorrow or the day after, you will die, and I shall be used to dig your grave. Oh, they will carry you away, and your soul will weep.